Hi, my name is Peyton.
And I am Rachel.
And we have Morgana here with us today. She is a lymphatic drainage specialist. Morgana, can you give us a brief background and tell us a little bit more about what you do and who you are?
Absolutely. My name is Morgana. I'm the owner of Brasileira Massage. I currently have 2 locations, one in Charlotte and other in Chicago. I was born and raised in Brazil. And I have a bachelor's in biomedical science and a post-graduation in aesthetics. So when I moved to Chicago, I noticed there was like a need for lymphatic drainage massage in the Brazilian community. But back then, no one was really offering it. So during one of my trips back home, I decided to take a course and learn the Brazilian lymphatic drainage massage. So when I went back to came back to US, I just registered with a massage school in Chicago just to learn, and get licensed as a massage therapist. And once I finished the program, I started my business.
Very cool. So is home for you, that's Brazil?
Yeah, still Brazil. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have been in US almost 9 years now.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what brought you to the US, and do you still visit Brazil?
Yeah, I still go back home. Usually I go once a year for like a month, I usually go during the winter just because it's summer there. It's the opposite season. And what brought me here was my husband. He was already living in US before. He's Canadian, but he worked in Brazil for 5 years. And we were ending meeting there during that time and started dating. And then he decided to return back to US. And I came with him. So, yeah, I'm here since then.
Well, I would think that your Charlotte and Chicago clients are very grateful that you decided to come here. So.
I think so.
So could you tell us a little bit about lymphatic drainage? I know this was something that was new to me in my holistic health journey. Mm-hmm. And I think like for me, gua sha was like the gateway drug to lymphatic drainage.
Yeah.
So if you could just give a brief explanation about what it is and what are some of the benefits.
Yeah, so the lymphatic drainage massage was pretty much stimulating the lymph nodes. They kind of like filters in your body. And then you're doing like all the stroke, all the movement towards them, just to get all that fluid, the inflammation, just water retention that the body have just flushed out. Because sometimes just can get a little bit congested. It's just like not moving the way it should on its own. So you just want to give that extra stimulation, the extra pump. Because at the end of the day, nothing really pumps the lymphatic system like we have circulatory system have a heart, right, that pumps the blood through the body. So nothing really pumps lymphatic system. The way the lymph moves to your body is through like a muscular kind of contraction. So when you're moving, when you're exercising, when you're breathing, that's why important. Take deep breaths in and out all the time because, in these days, you're just kind of just so stressed, just holding so much. Compression, gravity, and manual stimulation. So that's why people feel so much lighter afterwards. They can kind of got that before and after results because you're just speeding up the flow of lymphatic that usually moves very slowly on its own. Is still like capable to do on its own, but it's not going to be as fast as when you stimulate manually.
Very cool. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit newer to me. It's something that I've heard about and I know a little bit about, but I'm curious what led you into the world of lymphatic drainage. What was your exposure like before that led you to start your practice?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I really noticed the need of that in Chicago, and there was no one really offering in the area that I was living, and I just thought it was something. It was kind of like an easy way for me to get a little back into aesthetics because my diploma, my paperwork, from Brazil is a little bit different in US. So for me, it was kind of like a cut short, instead of going and, become a doctor or a nurse. That's what I needed to be in US and able to provide all the services or all, things that I was doing in Brazil. So that way I could still like work with kind of because in Brazil people get to lymphatic for also aesthetic reasons, because they just like, the way their body look. They just kind of so, aware of looking and stuff. So I felt like the need of that service in Chicago, and just like the passion, about helping other people and just kind of like helping them feel the best, just kind of like guide me to that direction. And I never thought things will go this way, where I will have like 2 spas, I'll be hiring people. Things just kind of like, went in a way that I had no idea, I didn't expect. And I'm just so grateful that actually went that way. And I really love what I've been doing and what I built over those years.
It's impressive, to be sure. I mean, 2 locations in Charlotte and Chicago, that's incredible.
And it's so niche. I know when I was looking for lymphatic drainage in Charlotte, you were one out of a couple.
Yeah.
And so it is such a niche, but it's such a need too.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot that we have in Charlotte, and especially looking at your technique, like a whole lot of places just don't offer that. So it's amazing that you're starting this in Charlotte and bringing more attention to a more holistic type of care.
Yeah.
It's definitely needed. So just, speaking of like your technique, so you've been in some of the most incredible places. So from Brazil to the USA, how have you blended these approaches and kind of curated that into your own practice?
Yeah, so I would say like in US, when I went to the massage school, we learned more like muscular massage, more like, designed for pain, for muscle aches, for relaxation, and if you want on your own, you can kind of like learn, other modalities, Thai massage, lymphatic massage, and what I noticed that in US, usually some of the places offer more like a Voder, Leduc techniques that usually is like lighter pressure, no lotion. And clients like a little bit more pressure. They like feel, because otherwise they think it's not working or, So I like to see what is out there, even because you have a lot of clientele that is international, it's from Europe, it's from South America. So I usually like to, get the movements and blend it to see like what works best, because there's movements that work best for, depending on the body type or depending what are they going through, so I kind of blend the knowledge, the techniques that I learn in each one of those places and kind of make my own style, because I feel like what I learned here and there was still missing something, so I feel like putting things together, it makes more sense, and clients really enjoy the way our sessions are.
Yeah. And I appreciate what you said about, at least the pressure points and wanting that, because when I go get a massage or when I'm at a workout class, I want like a little bit more of the extreme. Like I want to feel the pain, if that makes sense, in a way where it actually feels like, okay, I can see like immediate change, because like I'm sore, but that kind of means it's working.
Yeah.
So,
I usually tell clients like, it doesn't need to hurt to work, there's always like a balance, so my method definitely has is like firmer pressure, but not necessarily like hurts. People found like, because sometimes they're like, oh, does it hurt? They get nervous there. They're like, oh, what should I expect? I have no idea how the session looks like, like they don't know where they coming to, and they thought, wow, actually it's very relaxing. I thought it was going to be painful, I'm like, no, it's actually feel nice, and they feel lighter. For me, it's just that I love when we finish the session, or even during, they're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better already, because we're really like helping the system to kind of speed that flow that sometimes, as I mentioned before, it just builds up depending on diet, depending on hormone imbalance. There's a lot of factors that can make that just build up in the body.
Yeah.
over time.
It does look very relaxing. Have you had a client fall asleep on you while this is happening? Because it does just look so soothing.
Yeah, all the time. People
I would.
snore. Yeah, for me, I'm actually happy when that happens because it just means that they're able to get to the stage where they kind of like trust me, and then they kind of like, okay, like now I can relax, and they're just releasing the good hormones, what is great for them.
Yeah, that's how you know it's good.
Amazing. Well, okay, so speaking of relaxing, a lot of people think of massages as relaxing, but lymphatic drainage is a little different. It's a little deeper, and it kind of has that invisible impact on the body. So can you break down exactly what's happening during the session? Even if it is relaxing, what can people expect, and why is it so effective for things like inflammation, detox, and aesthetics?
Yeah, sure. So during the lymphatic massage, you are speeding up the body lymphatic system flow. So our body is capable to do it on its own. However, it takes just longer because nothing really pumps, right? The lymphatic system only moves with breathing, muscular contraction, gravity compression, and manual stimulation. So with hormones, diet imbalance, the system sometimes can just be like more congested and backed up. And this just make harder to flush the fluids on its own. So the lymphatic massage, you just improve the efficiency of the body lymphatic system and move fluids out easily. What I would like to point out is what is the lymph, the fluid, because a lot of people don't know, what is exactly that. And usually you call the lymph the fluid only after it enters the lymphatic vessels. When it's just in our body, you call it in the interstitial space, is still not lymph. It's only after entering the lymphatic system. And this fluid pretty much transports fat from the digestive system that, the molecules is too large to be absorbed on it, from the digestive system, so the lymphatic system can't pick it up. Lymphocytes, there are immune cells that you protect our body. Proteins and excess of fluids that leaks from the blood system.
Perfect. So where are some of the trouble, like the most problem areas that you see in people? Like where do you usually focus most energy?
I notice usually the abdomen, people tend to be more bloated, especially because I work more with women in general. We still can provide the services for men as well, but 99% of clientele tends to be women just because, they experience more bloating, they experience more water retention. So I notice usually abdomen and back of the legs usually are the two areas that people have more concerns, they just build up more in general.
Right. Why is it that those areas tend to pack the most inflammation?
Just because in general people are sitting, let's say they're just moving, so it's way harder for the fluid kind of move all the way up than actually move the way down. That's what I was saying, that gravity plays a role and is important because for our legs, either we're standing too long or sitting too long in these days. We're just always trying to find that balance, and then for digestion, because everything's connected to the brain, we are so stressed in these days. Sometimes people are eating certain types of food that they're not aware they're sensitive to, or they're the body just kind of becoming inflamed because they're eating certain types of specific food. And they just do hormones, especially clients during menopause, or I also see clients that are pregnant, the hormones sometimes just play a role and just make us to retain the most. So I would say those two areas usually, that's why they complain the most, and then they want me to spend more time during the session.
Totally makes sense. Yeah.
I know you mentioned inflammation. Is there anything else that shows in the body that it's a sign that you need lymphatic drainage, or you need more movement, or whatever that is?
Yeah, you're probably going to feel more tired, just kind of feel your body heavy. It just feels like you get kind of back up in a way that you get constipated, So there's another area that I really like to work on the abdomen, because you get the digestion really improved. Even like during the session, I'm able to feel if the client have any stool, or any gas, or, it's just so interesting how, like, we can move things around and people like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So, go back to the question. Sorry, I forgot it in my.
No worries. So what are like some signs and
The
symptoms
signs,
you see
yeah.
in your body?
Yeah, either like, to think, people can think more straight, if there's the body is just functioning better the way it should. But in general, people will just feel more energized, yeah, and lighter, so if they feeling tired, just kind of the heavy sensation, it's just something is not working the way it should. So that's I would considering, getting a lymphatic. Maybe your body just kind of backed up. Yeah.
Needs an extra push.
That makes
Yes.
So walk me through, what does a session look like with you? How long is it? What are some of the benefits that you might immediately see?
Yeah. So I would say we have a variety of services on your menu, in usually like for prospect clients, or even like clients that just coming for the first time. You recommend start with a lymphatic. Usually it's like a 70 minutes long appointment, where we is going to include the legs, the abdomen, the arms, and the back. And you also give the option to add extra 30 minutes for neck and face. Just because some people, they don't like to work on the face, so it's kind of optional. I usually suggest, at least for the first time, getting the full body, and usually like how it look like and what it feels is like we're stimulating the lymph nodes, the filters of your body, and then doing the strokes, flushing and pushing out the fluids towards them. So usually we have about 600 to 800 lymph nodes in the entire body, and usually they're close to articulation. So they're in the groin area, behind your knees, under your arms, like in the abdomen, they're kind of like all over behind their neck. So you're pretty much pumping it, and then doing our long strokes towards and just kind of carrying that fluid to get filtered and return back to the bloodstream.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds very satisfying.
So when speaking of like the immediate results, do you think that clients,
Oh, yeah.
see like a visible difference? Because I know for me, if I'm like washing my face, I feel like I like look slimmer. I'm just less
Yeah.
inflamed.
Yeah, so usually sometimes if the clients feels comfortable, we like to take the pictures before and after, so they kind of like see and even like track, for the upcoming appointments, if they keep noticing difference in their body. But I would say for mostly of the clients, they kind of feel already lighter after the session, and you can see, some visible results already since the first session. The way all this fluid and inflammation comes out of your body is through urination. So usually people expect just going to the bathroom a little more often within the next couple days, just because to speed up that flow, and that's how everything will be like flushed out. But yeah, usually we are able to see some results since the first session.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I know it's hard with holistic things and, holistic remedies. Sometimes you don't always see an immediate result, but it's nice when you do, because it kind of motivates people to keep on track and do it continuously.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's things that happens in cellular level. So even if you don't see, but you can still feel it, especially if you're aware of your body. That's what I always tell clients, and sometimes we see, our body every day in front of the mirror. You kind of don't notice, the difference.
Right.
Even there are differences. So that's why I like to take the picture just to keep tracking later on. They're like, oh my gosh, my body have changed so much since I started doing it. And also get people motivated, because they don't want to feel that way anymore. They want to, continue with the massages. They just motivated to like work out more often, like just change their diet most of the time. So that's make me happy too, to hear from them that just by coming to us, it's not just coming to get a massage, but also we're able to kind of, just incentivize them to just continue with a better lifestyle.
For sure.
Especially with the symptoms like brain fog and your energy levels, right?
Yeah.
It's something that, if you wake up for the next week and you continuously feel more energized, especially if you're more in tune with your body, something that I've done in the past is just kind of document like how you're feeling, write it down, especially when you're early in a holistic remedy or journey, and then you start
Yeah.
to implement these changes. And you really see it's like a night and day comparison if you're documenting your progress, and then you can kind of more so pay attention.
Yeah, and you can even like point what you're doing right and wrong, right? Like maybe things that you ending eating and you was not aware that actually was making you more gassy or more bloated, and then you kind of maybe just take out of your diet or just don't eat as often.
Bell peppers for me. I had no idea about bell peppers in my diet, but I'm not supposed to have those. That's
Oh,
what
really? Yes.
that's
So interesting.
one of my foods. I cannot have a bell pepper.
It is really interesting that you would think that it's like healthy, okay, I can have it, but the food sensitivities are real.
It is, and it's so different for everyone. That's usually I recommend clients also getting, checked and just kind of investigate, because sometimes they are eating things that they just think is healthy, but just for some reason their body just like not responding very well to it. So it's always good to get like a food sensitivity test or just like even a stool test just to, see what's going on inside of your body.
It makes so much sense to recommend that because, we're talking about a lot of the inflammation in like the abdomen department. Well, if you have leaky gut, you're having foods that are like leaking out into that area, like of course you would see an increased level of bloating and inflammation in that area. So
or even an overgrowth of bacteria or, because I had clients in the past and we suggest them to like get this checked and also stool tests, and then they found that they have overgrowth of bacteria, or they have just kind of parasite because we eat at the restaurants, we travel, so we don't know how they really process food in these days, we're just trusting. So we sometimes you going through something and don't know where it's coming from. So that way is finding the root cause, versus just trying to guess.
So very interesting. So with this, right, there's probably a lot of misconceptions about lymphatic drainage. A lot of people just assume that it's just like water weight loss, right? What's the biggest myth about lymphatic drainage that you want to set straight?
So I would say there's two that I have in mind right now. That usually people, let's say that they're looking to lose weight. They just think, oh, I'm just going and get a lymphatic drainage massage. But, you're not like breaking down the cells, you're not destroying cells by doing this massage. What you can notice that you're losing some body weight is just water weight, just that fluid, that just inflammation that just coming out of your body. So just kind of understanding that the massage itself doesn't like break down and doesn't destroy any fat cells. And another thing is that people think in order to get a lymphatic drainage massage, they need to have surgery. Not necessarily. We do see, clients that had surgery and then they come just to kind of speed the recovery time. But it doesn't mean that you need to have surgery to start introducing this type of massage to your routine.
Fair enough.
So I see that you are constantly expanding your knowledge on lymphatic drainage. So what are some things that you've been seeing, like trends emerging, and where do you see the future of lymphatic drainage going?
Yeah, so I noticed that, in these days, people are getting more familiar with lymphatic massages. They're getting more knowledgeable about how important the lymphatic system is. And I believe that it's just becoming more part of their routine, the same way you're getting our nails done, you're getting a haircut, Now I feel like people start getting lymphatic drainage massages more regularly. To help to reduce the inflammation, to help with the good lymph flow. And, they're just kind of like, just adding that to their routine. When I'm very excited, happy about it, just for preventive, disease and just kind of in general overall for wellness, I think is great.
So great. So if somebody cannot get lymphatic drainage treatments regularly, but maybe they come in, they do one or two, but they'd like to maintain at home, what are some things that they can do at home to support lymphatic drainage?
Yeah. So first thing I would say, adding, I know it sounds cliche, but it's like adding any sort of movement, because as we discussed before, like lymphatic system doesn't moves very slowly. So adding some sort of movement, the best I would say examples will be rebounding, Pilates, yoga, and just walking are great ways to just kind of like speed up the lymph flow. And another tip will be if you're applying some sort of moisturizer or lotion on your body, I always recommend doing upward movements, always kind of following the pathway of lymphatic system. So that way you're almost giving yourself, a daily self massage, so just helping with the flow as well. So always imagine just following the pathway of lymphatic. That is always like doing upward movements.
Right.
So that way, you're just kind of helping your body.
I've never thought to do that.
Yeah, even when you dry your body, but if you're applying lotion, so your arms, let's say, always bring doing this upward movement. Same for the legs. Just the face, you always bringing towards the front of the ear and then all the way down to the neck, behind the clavicle bone.
Okay, awesome. So something else you mentioned was rebounding.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that? I feel like I've seen that in a lot of my holistic accounts that I follow online. Can you explain a little bit about what rebounding is and why it's helpful?
Yeah, rebounding is like the trampoline. So there's even like classes that you can take, or some people that even like just to buy to have one at home, and just to kind of like, I would say 10, 15 minutes, like jumping can speed up 15 times the flow of lymphatic. So it's just kind of a fun way, something different to maybe try.
That is so fun.
I've seen a
It
lot of
is.
people replace, like they would go for a run or like a jog,
Yeah.
and then they just get a little trampoline
Oh my
and
gosh,
they jump on it
I would be
instead.
working on my computer, dancing on a trampoline. That's
I don't think the people who live below you would love that, but
Yes, it's really fun. There's actually a very nice workout place in Chicago that offer those classes called Common Language. And when I lived there, I used to take classes, and it's so fun, just you feel so better after.
fun way to get in movement. And I
Yeah.
think they're like, working out can be so mundane to people. Like, not everyone's excited by going to the
Yeah.
gym. So it's fun when you can find a workout that's different, that doesn't make it feel like a workout, that's a little fun. And
Yeah.
just
like imagine just bouncing to like you know your favorite playlist
Right.
songs and just
I'm gonna bounce it out.
Just bounce to your favorite playlist.
I know. I always tell people just find what you like. It doesn't mean that you necessarily need to be at the gym lifting weights. You just try different things. And once you find that movement that makes you excited, that you want to keep doing, and that is what you like stick with, but or even just alternates, because people sometimes, well, I don't like going to the gym, but there's so many other options out there, so just find what you like to do.
Yeah, I've been toying with the idea of getting a tiny trampoline. But you know what? Now that I think about it, my grandfather, who lived to be 93 years old, had a little trampoline in the house, and I never really thought about it, but he would bounce on it because he would do little movements, and he's always done that like his whole life. He always very much like took care of himself and would do these little movements. And so 93 years old, he had his entire mental faculties. He was very like he would even just like walk slowly around the yard, but he would get on the trampoline and bounce.
Wow, that's amazing.
I hadn't thought about that. But I mean, honestly,
That's impressive that someone like that age
he would
be
make
able to
us
do that.
count his push-ups in
Probably
the room.
That's
but
so cool.
I didn't think about it. But
There might be something to this trampoline.
He used to rebound, honestly. I didn't know it was a trend.
Yeah. Even probably help him with balance too, because it's a little tricky when you like never done it before, and it started like it's like, oh, especially with the classes, when you kind of sometimes using like weights, as it goes. So it's like very fun, but yeah, like it's very impressive how he was doing it at the age. Yeah.
I think I need a tiny
Maybe it's a sign to start doing it.
Well, that's amazing. Well, thank you for kind of expanding on that a little bit. I've seen a few people talk about it, but you've inspired me.
Yeah.
So if someone is listening today and they feel stuck in their health journey, whether they're dealing with bloating or fatigue or whatever it is that's just been looming over them, what is one piece of advice that you would give to them?
So if they're not feeling your best, or they're not feeling their best, I just will think like, what can I do actually to feel my best? What is preventing me to feel the way I would like to? So when people come to see us, for example, we just try to make them feel in a safe place, that they shouldn't feel ashamed or the way they look or the way they feel. And we just kind of like to encourage them to feel their best, and to have a better lifestyle, just because I believe that everything that we do today to our body, it really is going to reflect in the future. And if you take care of your body today, you're really going to help with your age and, just feel better in the future. Just as you mentioned, your grandfather. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. So he was taking care of him, he was just like, maybe not even think of it, but, I'm sure that, little things, little changes that you do in your routine, is going to impact in their future. So maybe today you feel fine, you feel okay not working out or eating whatever, but I'm sure like in 10 years on, later on, you're going to pay for it, like you're going to feel symptoms. Yeah. So I feel like the earliest we, become aware of our body is not just the way you're going to look, but also the way you're going to age and the way you feel, and you're treating our body at the end of the day.
Yeah, I love that. And I love to say, like, take care of your health before you have to focus on before you'll pay for your sickness. And so really, I really feel like the most, like, I guess, like, I feel like I take it for granted the most, like, and then I get sick. And then I realize, like, what a blessing it is to have this health. And then I feel better and I feel like a new person. And then you kind of just get on this kick of like, wow, I really want to make sure I take care of my health because I was sick. And whether it's the flu or whatever you had going on, it really just makes you evaluate how precious it is to be healthy and be able to be active and do these things and take care of your health now. It is like, if you're able to do that now, just because you're able to do these things that aren't following like some sort of practice to keep you well doesn't mean it's going to last forever. Eventually it will catch up to you. So it's just about taking care of this thing that you have that's so precious that you can keep if you do like pour into it.
That's what I believe, and that's what I try to pass to all the clients, just kind of like, it's not just about, a massage, but also starting from here now, a better lifestyle, just taking care of yourself more and, doing little changes that you make a difference later on.
Yeah, and why not just live your life feeling your best? Like, why would you choose to live, these days feeling like you're at 80% when you can be living at 100? Because it's just so much more enhanced, and you feel you have like this higher quality and energy in life. So why not just choose that? If it's gonna take a little extra work, but the way you feel is so worth it.
Exactly, I think the same.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today's episode. And real quick, where can people find you, experience your work? What are your handles? Share with us where they can find you.
Yeah, definitely. If you're in Charlotte or in Chicago, in Charlotte we have a location in South Park, in Chicago, in downtown. And if you're not in any of those cities, but still would like to learn more about lymphatic, you're always posting content, results, and sharing more information on the Instagram page that is at La Brasileira Massage. But if you like, to give a try to lymphatic drainage and you live in either Charlotte or Chicago, we will definitely love to take care of you.
Perfect. And we will tag you.
Yeah, we'll make sure that we tag you. So go ahead and give her a follow and a visit if you're local. And thank you guys for listening to Sunday Remedy.